I'm not here to say one generation is better than another, but Generation X is the best.
You're goddamn right.
I actually think it's kind of funny when I see these little kids coming at people from my generation. You see, when you're a generation raised on safe spaces, it's not wise to come at a generation raised on mosh pits. See, when we had a problem with somebody, we couldn't text it to them from like 30 miles away and hide behind a screen. We had to say it to their faces. And yeah, sometimes hands were thrown, bruises were caused. But you know what else happened? Skin was thickened, hearts were hardened. Words don't scare us. We were raised on your mama jokes starting in like kindergarten. In my generation, only the strong survived. Look, there's like 88 million millennials, 77 million boomers. There's only 65 million Generation X. We killed off the weak ones. I said what I said.
He ain't lying.
It's a generational war brewing over on TikTok right now, and everybody's in the mix except for Gen X. And it's a couple people that's wondering why Gen X isn't involved and why nobody wants to mess with Gen X. We're going to answer some of them questions in today's episode. What it look like TV?
I am back. What it do, baby?
YouTube's own Varnell Hill.
Did ya miss me?
Your very own spokesman for the Insidians, wear inside and wear comfortable.
They're so comfortable.
And I'm back with another one. And today, y'all, we gonna get into these generational wars that's cracking off over on TikTok, man. We got the boomers versus Gen Alpha, Gen Z versus Gen Alpha. We got the millennials versus we got everybody except for anybody versus Gen X. And I'm gonna try to explain to y'all a little bit about Gen X so y'all can understand us a little bit better. And you're gonna see exactly why nobody pretty much wants it with Gen X, because we different. I truly think our kids only know who we really are.
It's a problem.
No. My problem is that you didn't get off your lazy ass and charge.
Oh, here she comes. She coming too now. She waking up. Hey, pumpkin. Yeah, you got a little stupid and you forgot I'm old school. Yeah, we're not going to do that. I had to take care of some business. Get up, girl. Let's go have a Coca-Cola or a Pepsi, and we'll talk about it. But you ain't going to try that no more, okay? Okay? All right. Get up.
But like I said, man, it's a couple people over on TikTok that's asking the questions, and they're getting some swift answers.
Who let Gen X off the hook? Why aren't we talking shit about those guys?
Hello, 51-year-old Gen X here. Thank you for your questions and acknowledging the fact that we actually exist. To answer your initial question, if you saw a bear walking around the streets or in the woods minding its own business, would you keep on walking or would you approach it to around and find out? Most people don't talk shit about us because they forgot that we even exist. I mean, we are called the forgotten generation for a reason. Our numbers are much smaller than the boomers and millennials, so we're the middle child stuck in between both of them. Sarcasm is also one of our love languages, so even if someone were to talk shit about us, chances are we didn't give enough of a to take it seriously.
They were teenagers in the 80s.
False statement. We were forced to become teenagers and adults between the ages of 7 and 9. We were latchkey kids. We were left at home all the time by our parents to fend for ourselves or our siblings once we got old enough to form complete sentences. And if we weren't home alone by ourselves, we were either out in the streets or the woods, drinking out of warm garden hoses, water sliding in our front yards, or going up the street to our local tetanus shot waiting to happen type playground, whether it's spinning around the merry-go-round of doom or going down a hot metal slide during the summer, or simply just hang out with our friends in the streets, sometimes on our BMX bikes, our big wheels, or the bicycles with the tassels on the handlebars with the basket in front where sometimes we'd place our younger siblings in. Just imagine constantly being in survival mode and being told by your parents to either walk it off or rub some dirt in it whenever you got hurt. We were able to do all of that and still make it home before the streetlights turned on.
They had the coolest music.
100% agree with you. And this is not me being biased, being that I grew up in the 70s and the 80s and got to experience all of this stuff, but rather based on facts. To back this up, let's look at some 80s trends currently making a comeback. Let's start with some 1980s movie remakes such as Ghostbusters, Firestarter, Dune, Footloose, Carrie, just to name a few. And can we all agree that Cobra Kai is one of the best TV series based on a movie that we've seen in recent years?
No.
And let's not forget about Stranger Things. Next up, 80s fashion, bell-bottom jeans, big bangle bracelets, acid-washed anything, leg warmers, big bright neon colors, fanny packs, I can keep going. Our music became classical rock and is now featured in grocery stores worldwide.
Where are those motherfuckers now?
Based on the overwhelming response that your video received, I think it's safe to say that we've always been here. Just sitting here drinking our coffee and watching the shit show. So yeah, you can go ahead and try to talk shit about Gen X, but chances are we're just gonna look at you and say, I don't even give a whatever.
My man shut all that down, and he looked like he 35, man. You really can't mess with Gen X. He looked younger than the boy that was talking trash. But anyway, man, every time they try, we immediately drop the hammer and let them know, don't do this.
Gen X, how did you guys do it? How did you stay out of the generational hate war?
I think there's a better question to be asked here. Would you really want us to get involved? Because Gen X truly is the last of the FAFO generation. And before you ask us to FA, ask yourself, do you really want to FO? This generational hate war, we're not involved because we don't care. Do you really want us to care? Yeah, we didn't get participation trophies, so before we get on, understand there's going to be a clear-cut winner and loser. It will be a hands-on activity. Gen X is the last of the feral and wild and free children. It's like Lord of the Flies. We were all raised by each other. Think of it kind of like the Jungle Book. We're all just Mowgli. And before either parties think that they could hang with Gen X and drink the Kool-Aid, I need to remind you, our Kool-Aid was made with hose water. Our parents weren't out here gentle parenting anything. They did not raise us to be their friend. Truthfully, they didn't really raise us at all. We came home when the street lights came on, because home, there was chores at home. There was work to be done at home, and we understood that we didn't want to do that. For Gen X kids, home is not where the heart is. Home is where they wanted you out by the time you were 18. You better have a job. I just don't think people understand. Gen X truly doesn't have like a social group. Our social group was like the Breakfast Club. You just dealt with the people who lived on your street. Your friends were the people who lived in your area. That was your crew. You rode around on your little 10 speeds with them like a little Sons of Anarchy motorcycle club. People who grew up as Gen X have more miles by the time they were 13 years old on their 10 speeds than you'll ever get off of some kind of spin class. Sidebar, I rode around in the old neighborhood the other day from where my house was to where the pool was. It is 5.5 miles. We made that every day, twice a day. And the reason why Gen X is so quiet now is because we've seen the system fail multiple times. Right wing, left wing, it's the same bird. Oh, the government's failing its people. Yes. And if you are waiting for it to fix itself, then you're only failing yourself. We want to be left alone. We don't want to people with people unless there are people, because not every person is worth putting pants on for. We are all at the age now to where we are built for comfort, not speed. If I have to leave the house, there better be a clear-cut reason. We all have thick skin. Not everything offended us. We had the frickin' Goonies. Not that our give a damn was all too terribly high to begin with, but somewhere between that time and now, it is officially broken. X has realized a long time ago that opinions are a lot like butts. Everybody has one. Doesn't mean I want to hear it. We didn't go home and tell our parents about the adventures. We understood that snitches got stitches. We kept our mouths shut. So don't involve us in a situation that you don't want us to get involved in. Stayed out of it because we didn't care. If you give us a reason to care, you might have wished that we would have stayed out of it.
So what I'm about to do right now is I'm going to attempt to bridge the gap. I'm going to take my fellow Gen Xers on a walk down memory lane, and I'm going to try to show and explain to the other generations exactly why Gen X may seem disconnected at some points, or Gen X may seem emotionally devoid. I'll say that. And that's because we're the last generation to know life without the internet. So we're the last generation to actually have witnessed life before the easy button.
That was easy.
So once you have lived life without the easy button, you kind of don't have any sympathy for the complaints of the easy button.
Why Gen X kids are so tough. This was our iPad. If the food didn't kill you, the secondhand smoke would. We got brain freezes on the regular. This man worked around the clock to make sure we got our donuts on time. This could heal any wound. That 350-degree metal slide that sat in the sun. We had to manually roll down the car windows. We almost got killed when the other kid jumped off this thing. This was our online dating. We wrote in cursive. We dialed a number, messed it up, and had to start over. Photomat, the suspense when you went to pick up your photos. No autocorrect. Handheld gaming was hard. We had to wait for our favorite song until it played on the radio. We had to get up to change the TV channel. A long phone cord was every teen's dream for privacy. They'll never know the pain of having to rewind a movie. You had to carefully rip off the sides without tearing it. Remember calling the movie theaters and having to listen to the whole message to find out what movies were playing and the show times? Did you experience any of this?
Everything in that video is still around to this day, but it's an upgraded, newer, safer version of that. We grew up on the unsafe, untested versions of everything. And if it wasn't an unsafe, untested version, we was going through multiple steps to do things that we just do in instance now. Ain't nothing new about car play. It just had more pieces.
I mean, it's gotten to a point now where if you put a good radio in the car, you have to have it installed in a way that you can lift it out and take it with you so that it's not stolen while you're at the laundromat or any other place. And then what you have to do is have something to carry it around in, because you don't want to leave it in the trunk, because the thief is liable to bust into your trunk to see if the radio's there. So you put it in a nice little bag like this, and you carry it around with you. Well,
like, we've been texting for years, but we used to have to kind of finagle the system to text. Now you could just pick your phone up and text.
Hello? This is 1-800-COLLECT. You have a collect call from
Monica. Meet me at the mall in 5 minutes.
To accept the call.
Yo, speaking of phones, man, you ever go to one of your friends' house or call one of your friends' house back in the day when we was younger, when we was using the landlines, and they mom get on the phone and go bananas on them? You ever been over their house or witnessed that? That's always the most uncomfortable situation.
Cause Keisha told me that you said you liked it, me.
I do like it, you though.
Ma, I'm on the phone. Man, I'm gonna call you back. My mom gotta use the phone.
I'm still a mommy's boy, and I really don't care who knows it.
Some of y'all moms was crazy, man. But I try to explain to my kids, and they really don't get it. But we were a generation of outside kids. Like, we was really, really close to furrow, man. Like, my kids need an electric scooter to go outside. All I needed was a big wheel, and I was ready to hit the block. We was different, man. I'm gonna get to the point of why it was so special and why we was outside from dusk to dawn, man. That built us to be a whole different type human being. But anyway, man, like, our whole childhood included trying to destroy us mentally. Our games were literally just stimulating high anxiety. We had games that was all about anxiety, seeing how anxious the game could make you. Could y'all tell we was living in a time before mental health? If it wasn't that game, it was Operation, totally making people anxious for no reason.
Reload the pieces and collect your fee, but don't touch the sign.
But anyway, man, let's have a word from our sponsors and then let's come back and finish up this whole expose into Generation X.
Highlight your Memorial Day weekend with a special cookout and stock up on everything you need at Winn-Dixie.
Start with juicy WD brand steaks like these. Buy U.S. Choice boneless Delmonico steaks for just $2.99 a pound.
And bake up plenty of homemade cookies while a 5-pound bag of Domino sugar is 69 cents at Winn-Dixie.
Then keep cool all day with refreshing Czech drinks. Your favorite flavors in 12-ounce cans are 10 for only $1.
And don't forget, you get top value stamps at Winn-Dixie.
And we back, y'all. But anyway, man, I made an observation while making this video that I think is only unique to Generation X, man. It seems like we all had the exact same birthday parties.
This was all you needed for a birthday party back in the day.
Straight facts.
And dude, this is one of the truest things I've ever seen, because now kids have high expectations about birthdays now.
Oh my God, bro. Spoiled ass kids.
They all trying to go out together all the time to the little jump place or the VR place. You're walking out that bitch spending $350.
Yeah. Think about that birthday right there.
This is a $20 birthday.
$20.
Right, you got like an $8.99 cake from Kroger. You got the Napoleon ice cream for about $3. You got the
Neapolitan.
juices. What did I say?
Napoleon?
Is it Neapolitan?
Pretty sure.
You got the Napoleon ice cream for about $3.
Yeah, hey, you got that strawberry, vanilla, and chocolate combo. How's that? And then you got the hot dogs. That's a $20 birthday right there. Everybody's happy. Your friends are happy.
I'd be happy with a birthday like that right now.
Bring this back right here.
Normalize this.
Bring this back. This is all you need. No, we don't have to go to the movies. No, we don't have to go to the trampoline place.
Yeah.
We're not doing any of that shit. Get in the backyard. Get you some water balloons.
Have 4 of your friends come over.
That's right.
You're not my dad!
We all ate the exact same candy.
80s American chewing gum that disappeared. Today's kids will never experience them. Ouch. Bubble gum. So much flavor. For like 3 chews. Anyone else remember Miner's Gold Nugget gum? I can still feel the taste fading away in my mouth. Just looking at this picture is seriously making my mouth water. If you ever had Freshen Up, you definitely remember that weird little burst of liquid inside. We used to just dump a whole bunch in our mouths and go to town chewing. That was my favorite gum flavor as a kid. I can still taste it like it was yesterday. This gum was so gross, slimy, sticky, and just impossible to chew. No little cinnamon gum freshens breath longer than Big Red. Remember cutting up your mouth on that rock-hard baseball card gum? Bubblegum cotton candy flavor? That was the best 1 minute of my life. Anybody else remember Bazooka Joe gum with the tiny comics inside every piece? Watermelon gum with little candy seeds inside. And those mini football helmets from the candy machines. Classic. Purple gum that tasted just like soap. What were they thinking? Big League Chew with Garfield on the pack. So good. Which one was your favorite?
And we all wore the exact same shoes.
Shoes worn in the 80s in the U.S. are something today's kids will never experience. The poor souls who had to wear Pro Wings to school. Every time I hear about British Knights shoes, I can't help but think of Nickelodeon game shows. Penny loafers. Did you put a penny in yours? Kangaroos, the world's only shoes with pockets. These K-Swiss shoes were all the rage. Who wore a pair of LA Gear sneakers in the 80s? Pair them with scrunched-up socks. I know they're still popular today, but I still feel nostalgic for Chuck Taylors. Did you own a pair of classic Red Keds Champion Originals? I begged my mom for moon shoes and gave up after 10 minutes. You could almost smell the sweat coming from those abominable shoes. Airwalk shoes, great for skateboards and distortion pedals. When I was in grade school, LA Lights were the shoes to have. These old Adidas Samba shoes were worn by nearly everyone, especially the soccer kids. Did you ever own a pair of Saddle Oxfords? My sister and I hated them, but you couldn't tear those things up for anything. Did your parents buy you Stride Right shoes when you were very young? What other shoes do you remember?
What are those?
They are my Crocs.
I don't know how y'all was wearing them jelly sandals, man. I used to look at them and think they ain't doing nothing but making your feet stink. A totally plastic shoe, I don't care how much. But anyway, y'all.
You stay focused.
I'm sorry. Thank you, Mr. Miyagi. But anyway, man, moving right on along, man. Back to why you really don't want to mess with Generation X. We was the generation of Nerf footballs. Y'all don't even play with Nerf footballs anymore, man. Y'all know Nerf for Nerf guns. We knew Nerf for footballs. We was outside playing football. We was outside playing football in the middle of traffic. I don't think you want to mess with people that grew up playing football in the middle of traffic.
How 90s is that?
This makes me think of, you know, when Uncle Rico's like, I'll throw his football over a mountain.
How much you want to make a bet I can throw a football over the mountains?
These things, you could chuck a fucking mile.
When I got my hands on a Nerf turbo football with that spiral, I never in my life thought I could throw a ball that far.
I know, it felt so good.
I could throw it farther than the field we were playing in.
You remember when they released the same one with the little screamer on it?
Yeah, when that happened, it was over.
The new sound of football. The new Nerf Turbo Screamer football, specially designed for the screaming sound of excitement. Turbocharged for long-distance launches, so anyone can have a rocket arm.
That is an amazing football. This meme says, okay, but why is there always a bite taken out of these?
100%.
No doubt about it.
That didn't mean you wasn't using it.
Oh, you 100% were using it.
You just worked around that.
Somebody said mine had a bite from a dog in it, and I didn't even have a dog.
This ball was elite. This was like the peak of Nerf balls until they put the whistle. Then it was over.
We peaked as a society at the same time Nerf peaked with footballs.
I swear to God.
You know what I'm saying?
Let's change the game, bro.
In the suburbs, they had the luxury of playing in them big fields. In the city, man, we just had to yell out car if a car was coming, man. I seen so many people get hit by parked cars, run dead into them, and by moving cars playing football in the street.
I'm the luckiest.
And the crazy part is, every time it happened, it never stopped the game. We just kept playing, man. Like, Gen X is different. You need to really realize that before you start, you know what I mean, trying to dip your toe in the water. And speaking of water, that brings us to one of the most important pieces of our childhood, our relationship with water.
You grew up in Generation X, you have no recollection of drinking water. You could not go to the store in the 70s or 80s and buy a bottle of water. No, nobody would pay for water. Our parents giving us water, not a thing at all. To put it simply, we were some of the most dehydrated motherfuckers on the planet. Our classrooms were not air conditioned. It would be hot as balls. There were so many teachers that would just bring a fan and it would just point at them. They were like, F them kids. Trying not to die of heat stroke because there's no air conditioning in these big brick buildings. You go down to lunch and they give you this little 8-ounce carton of milk that we would suck down till it like crumpled. Time to go to recess and we would go out and play on this like black asphalt with like no shade. After recess, we would all line up and get a drink at the drinking fountain, but the asshole kids behind you would all count. Like each kid had 2 seconds. You'd be like 1, 2, and then on to the next one. All the dietitians and healthy people today are like, drink your water. You need so many ounces a day. And I'm like, shit. We probably drank about 4 teaspoons of water a day. I'm not exaggerating. This is why hose water tasted so good to us, because it was the only time we didn't have restrictions on how much water we could drink.
Yo, that video right there, I'm not even gonna hold y'all up. That taught me a whole lot about myself. I noticed when I be out with my kids, we can't go 100 feet without my kids being thirsty and needing something to drink. And I always get it, but it always frustrates me. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, y'all some wimps. And it's like, nah, y'all just being hydrated. That's what y'all are. I'm programmed opposite to not drink nothing. We didn't drink anything growing up. That's why we was drinking out them hoses. And a lot of people don't realize why we had to drink out the hose. And this makes the wormhole go even deeper.
When y'all are saying that y'all used to drink from the hose, were sinks not an option?
For fuck's sake. Who's gonna tell him? You want me to tell him? I'll tell him. We weren't allowed in the house.
Get out! Get out! Get the hell out of here!
I don't know why that's so hard for people to understand. Our childhood was like one never-ending episode of that TV show Survivor, okay? We are indestructible. We've never sat in car seats. Nobody's ever given us swimming lessons. We've all been either shot with a BB gun or stabbed with a jart. The television stations had to make a commercial reminding our parents that they had kids. I shit you not. Every night on the 10 p.m. news, a voice would come on and say, "It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?" To remind our parents that they had fucking kids. So no, sir, shirtless with the beanie, sinks were not an option.
But like with everything else when it comes to Gen X, things are not cut and dry. We didn't drink a lot of water, but the water that we did drink was special.
Yo, let's talk about these old nasty drinking fountains real quick, man. If you grew up playing in the park and you drink out of these, you living forever, man. You don't know what the hell you were drinking, bro. I'm pretty sure we got some mercury, some lead, some uranium, little plutonium. We ate some algae, mold, some plankton. If you drink out of this, man, you got super stomach, man. You got galactic guts. We don't ever have to worry about E. coli, salmonella. But you've been playing all day in the park, you tired, you thirsty, you didn't give a damn, you jumped up on that thing, you drank out of it. Had a little rusty flavor to it.
How many of y'all had childhood memories of being manipulated to go outside and stay outside?
I'm raising the ante. Anybody wants in, get in. Anybody wants out, get out.
I remember getting in trouble for coming back in the house too much. Being told you either inside or you outside. You're not going to be slamming my screen door all day. And I remember I used to try to be careful to not let the door bang. They'd be mad to see me in the afternoon like, dang, all right, guess I'll go back outside. But anyway, man, she wasn't lying about them having little announcements on it's 10 o'clock, do you know where your kids are? Because truth be told, it didn't work with them just saying it on the news. So they had to come up with a commercial of celebrities to try to beg people pretty much, yo, keep an eye on your kids.
It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?
It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?
It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?
Hey! 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?
It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?
You know, my pop was a cop, but my mom was down my back, so I had a curfew, and, you know, people was pretty much active in my life. But I had a lot of friends, man, that was just, they was out there. They ain't had no curfew at 13, 14 years old. They was up all night, out all night. But that was just Gen X. That was just the times and the way things was going down, man. Like, we are truly the most independent generation, man.
If independent was a generation, it would definitely be Gen X. Why? We've been on our own since we were 6 years old. At 6 years old, we had a key to the house, letting ourselves in, cooking grilled cheese sandwiches by yourself, doing your homework, in front of the TV, watching cartoons. You better not burn the house down, and you better not open that door. At 6 years old, we could ride our bikes to the other side of town with no cell phone. Parents don't know where you at. They didn't even care. All they know is you better be back in this house before the street lights come on. By 8 years old, you know how to write a check at the grocery store. By 10, every Gen Xer I know had 2 jobs. Mine was delivering paper and cutting yards. We had no Google, tell us stuff. We had to read.
Huh?
The people had money, had Encyclopedia Britannica. Either way, we had to read. But no punching in no address and it tell you how to get there. We had to learn how to read a map. We the generation of taking shit apart and putting it back together. I was driving to the store at 9. Don't put a Gen X in charge, cause we taking over. He ain't lying.
Now, we done established that we are hyper independent, but we also have something else that we experienced and coming up that y'all have now that we never even fathomed them having. All this communication and all this expression is foreign to us. We're from the you'll be alright generation.
Stop crying, you sniveling ass. Stop your nonsense.
That was pretty much everybody's approach when it comes to us. You'll be alright.
Stop crying like a little girl.
If you was a child, you didn't have a say-so, your expressions, your feelings, everything, you'll get over it. Like I said, we was from the you'll be alright generation.
This is the thing about Gen X. We've been holding on to anger and resentment since the day we were born. We have emotions that have been stewing and brimming just under the surface for decades. We have full conversations that are living in our head that we've never expressed to anyone ever. We weren't allowed to have emotions. We weren't allowed to have a say. We weren't taught about big emotions or expression, depression, anxiety. Oh no. None of that existed for our lives, no. We were either good or we were bad, period. And we were punished accordingly with things like belts, switches, pancake turners, pulling our hair, grounded for weeks and weeks on end. And our parents didn't give a shit. If we were grounded in the midst of prom, we didn't go to prom. Our parents actually reveled in our discomfort and sadness. They didn't give a shit. There was no such thing as gentle parenting. Not at all. We would have given our life for a timeout. Timeouts didn't exist. If you want to know how angry a Gen Xer can get, go watch the documentary about the second Woodstock. Go watch the end of that when Limp Bizkit plays. My 20s were spent in a mosh pit. I listened to stuff like Linkin Park, Metallica, Limp Bizkit, and all of that rage lives inside of every single one of us because we don't talk about any of it. So we might seem apathetic, that we've never really cared about anything, but the fact of the matter is we do. And all I have to say is God help whomever is on the other end of an entire Generation X movement. Because honestly, the bloodier that you left a mosh pit meant that you were having a good time that night. My generation is fueled by Boone's Farm, Salem Slim Lights, and being locked out of our own homes all day, and we might get a peanut butter and jelly sandwich shoved under the door. We're literally feral.
Did y'all notice, man, that male, female, whether they from the city, whether they from the suburbs, whether they from the country, it's the exact same story for everybody that's in Gen X, man? We grew up in a whole different world. And with that being said, man, I'm going to give y'all a tip. One of the best tips that I can give y'all on getting along with all the Generation X people in your life, man. Because if you follow this rule, you typically won't have a problem with somebody that's from Gen X. It's one simple rule.
But listen up now. This is serious.
One thing about us Gen Xers, if you talking to us, you better get to the point. We ain't got time for your 10-minute TED talk about how you feel before you ask the question. In our honesty, we don't care what happened to you at band camp in 1997. This ain't Netflix. You don't get 3 episodes to get to the plot. We don't do context. We do bullet points and curse words. All that old so I was thinking. You better think faster, cause you got about 15 seconds before we mentally check out on your ass and start thinking about where the we put our glasses. We come from the era of what time, where at, who all gonna be there. Gen X ain't trying to decode nothing. This ain't no goddamn escape room. We got bills and shit. Speak plain or get tuned the out. That's your only 2 options. Talking about I don't know how to approach this. Approach it with urgency. We come from an era where if you call somebody's house phone and they dead answer, you had to be concise, confident, and ready for that click. Cause if you start babbling and talking in circles, you getting a dial tone. Just get to the point, okay?
He ain't lying.
If you follow that simple rule, man, you should be okay. I can't guarantee 100% success rate, but I'm thinking around 98% of the time, unless you bump into one of us on a real bad day, that should work for you, man. But this video is just about over, man. And if I'm going to end something that's about the 80s, I'm going to have to end it the way all our nights ended back in the 80s as children. And doing this video, I found out once again, man, Gen X, we are all connected. We all had the same experience. All our nights ended the same way.
Remembers this sound and what it meant when you heard it. I can feel the feeling that I used to have when I would hear it right now.
You know what it means?
Bedtime.
Turn this motherfucker off.
It means the night is over.
Like, I know this intro more than I know the show.
Way more.
No.
When I would see it, this come on, when I would hear that,
nope,
I would get pissed.
I gotta go sleep.
I'd be like, man, this is bullshit.
Night's over.
Night is done.
They put this on to make me turn the TV off. But this show, I don't know, man. It just wasn't our cup of tea as kids.
It was too much for a kid.
Yeah.
I hold no nostalgia for the show.
No.
But definitely the song. It's when I knew, damn.
Yeah.
Like, fun time is over.
Yeah.
You know?
Parents are taking over.
Yeah, exactly.
Till this day, I still hate that TV show, man. That is the worst song I think I've ever crafted. It's the saddest, most depressing. I don't know why you would put that as the theme song to a TV show. I done went back and I done watched so many series from the 80s and 90s, and that never even gets a consideration, man. I don't even know really what it's about. I know it's about Vietnam, but I have no clue what I don't even know who was in it. I despise that show. But anyway, man, moving on, we about to get up out of here, man. And I hate to break it to everybody in Gen X, man. We done had a heck of a ride, but we old now, man. And if you don't believe me, I'm going to give you an opportunity to prove me wrong right now. We're about to take the I'm old as, you know the next word, challenge. And if you can pass it, you know what I mean? Well, if you can fail it, rather, because we all going to pass it. If you can fail it, then you're not old. But if you pass it, then we all know what it is.
Put a finger down if you know what a Sega is. Put a finger down if you remember buying 4 bags of chips for $1. Put a finger down if you remember blowing on your Nintendo game cartridge.
Oh yeah! Oh my god!
Pause, nigga.
Put a finger down if you've ever been to Blockbuster. Put a finger down if you've ever used a landline phone. Put a finger down if you know what a cassette player is. Put a finger down if you've ever used the yellow pages or white pages. Put a finger down if you've ever used a VCR player. Put a finger down if you've ever wore red and green glasses just to watch a 3D movie. And put a finger down if you've ever used a disposable camera.
Put y'all socks on, man. It's no more questions. It's no more questions. Yeah, y'all talking about y'all not old, man. But anyway, man, that's just a little explanation on why Gen X is the way Gen X is, man. We different, man. We are the last generation before the easy button.
That was easy.
We the last generation without safe spaces. We the last generation without water. It's going to be hard for somebody from Gen X to feel anything for your complaints if your arm isn't hanging off. We were deprived water as children. We were deprived water. So just remember that when you bring your complaints to somebody from Gen X, man. That person was deprived water as a child. So be careful, man. But anyway, man, this video is going to end like all the other ones, man. Hit me up in the comments section and let me know how you feel about everything you just witnessed.
Tell me how you felt about what just happened there.
And if you done made it to this point in the video, you are my MVP.
It was a stone groove, my man.
I'm out of here.